Good morning. Now we're joined by head coach Phil Neville.
Morning, guys. Hope everyone's okay. I think the first thing I've got to say is on behalf of everyone at Inter Miami, our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone in the Florida area that suffered over the last 24 to 48 hours in some of the most horrific weather conditions that I've ever seen live and obviously on the news. We've all been glued to the news. Obviously, people up in Naples, Sarasota, Tampa Bay. Obviously, some of the scenes and destruction has been really upsetting and worrying. And our thoughts and prayers for everyone at Inter Miami goes out to all those that are suffering and have suffered over the last 24 to 48 hours. I think it really puts football into perspective and life into perspective, really, that there is devastation within 200 miles away from us. So thoughts and prayers and everything that we can do for them in Florida. We are one state, and hopefully the storm is passing through now and people can get back to some kind of normality and civilization and repair their homes and lives accordingly. So thoughts and prayers with them. In terms of the week that we've had, it's been a broken week. We've not had any training on Tuesday, Wednesday because of the weather conditions and the floods around the obviously the area that we're in. So today the players are back in. We'll get a field session. The players have been in really good shape in terms of sort of like fitness. We've got Coco Breck Shea back in full training yesterday. Breck's been back in training for the last 7 days, so I'm hoping that they will be able to take part in the next 3 games in the playoff push. Breck's had a horrendous luck with injury, and it's been great to see him come back into the team. Coco, we know that he could be a real surprise in terms of sort of like teams don't know about him. So in terms of the DC game, we obviously wanted to continue our momentum. So the international break sometimes for teams comes at the right time and the bad time. For us, it felt like, even though I felt like we needed a little bit of a breather, I wanted us to continue the momentum that we'd built from the DC game. We approached the last week of the season in probably a spot that we would want to be in. We're in the 7th position. We've got to attack the last 3 games like we've attacked the last month or 2. We've got to go for 9 points. I firmly believe, and you've got to believe that the teams around us, Atlanta, New England, Cincinnati, Orlando, Columbus, will win their last 2 or 3 games. That's the way that we've got to think. So we've got to go for the victory against Toronto tomorrow. We're taking each game individually as it comes. The good thing about the game being on the Friday night, or the only good thing I'd say about the game being on the Friday night in relation to what happened for us in DC, is that in DC we were the last game to play in that weekend in our bunch of teams. In this weekend we are the first team to play, which means that experience tells you that you can get your first punch in first, and that hopefully will be a positive punch, and that hopefully will be will put pressure on our rivals. But really, it's all about us. You can see the permutations of all the other teams, or who they're playing, where they're playing, at what times they're playing. But really, if we don't do our job, it won't matter what others are doing. So we're excited. It's going to be a massive, great week for the club in terms of the size of the games that we're playing. 2 at home, 1 away against teams in and around us. Toronto got nothing to play for, but probably got everything to play for in terms of they will want to beat us. No team that you play against that's been managed by Bob Bradley will give up without a fight. They've got quality players that want to finish their season at home after a disappointing probably last 2 or 3 games with a victory. And they've got world-class players. They've invested heavily in their squad with world-class players. So it's going to be another tough game. Before the last game, I only showed the team one thing, and that was our away form and where we are in the league table, which I think we were second from bottom. And I told him that I was embarrassed by that, and that should have been their motivation for the game. It was. And I will show him that league table again from our away form. Our away form hasn't been great. So it's another game where we can improve our away form. And, we're excited. This last week is one where you have to enjoy. You have to enjoy. There's going to be a lot of pressure. There's going to be a lot of twists and turns. And we're going to make sure that we continue the enjoyment that we have as a group and as a team.
We'll get started with questions now.
That was long, wasn't it?
Yeah. We'll start with Michelle. And then with Jose.
Hey, Phil, good morning.
Morning.
I want to ask 2 questions, if you don't mind, as long as I have the mic here. DeAndre Yedlin, is he going to be okay? I think he flew directly to Toronto and you're going to meet him there. Have you heard from him? How's he doing? And then I want to ask you about, this will be Alejandro Pozuelo's first time playing there since he left. How do you think he'll handle that? Thanks.
Well, we've obviously spoke to DeAndre. I think it's safe to say he's a massive doubt. He arrived late last night. It was impossible for him and Damien to come straight back to Miami. The flights were all cancelled, and it didn't make much sense for him to be sat in an airport waiting for the next flight. So we sent them both early yesterday to Toronto. They arrived late last night. DeAndre is very sore. I don't know if anyone saw the tackle. It was a really poor tackle. So I'd say that he's 50-50 for the game. And until we get there tonight and he's assessed by our physios, then we probably not know the extent. So we are planning with and without him. Damien, I think, is okay. He went with a slight injury, but he played the 90 minutes for Jamaica. So we'll just see how he recovers. The fact that we're playing on a Friday night gives us one less day to recover our international players that are flying all the way around the world, but that's something we have to accept. So what was the second question, Michelle?
The second question was about Alejandro Pozuelo playing up there.
Yeah, well, he's excited to go back. A club that he loved playing for, a club that he had brilliant success early in, I think it was 2019. He was an MVP. They won the league. They had a brilliant team. And he's got nothing to prove up there. I think his main motivation now is to bring success to Inter Miami. When he signed for us, that was our real message and remit. And it was his remit that he wants to come here to be a playoff, to help us get in the playoffs. And we said to him, you're the player that we're signing to help give us that massive, big jump towards challenging from a playoff position. So at the moment, we're on track. At the moment, he's done really well, and we're really happy. I'm sure he'll get a great ovation because he, like I say, he gave great service to Toronto in terms of the success that they had with him. We know his quality. They will know his quality. And it'd be great to see the kind of reception that he will get.
Thank you.
We'll go to Jose and then Ian.
Thank you, Rafa. Good morning, Phil.
Morning.
I wanted to ask you, how much breathing room do you think you have in the last 3 games? You mentioned that your the other teams in the fight, they most likely will win 2 out of 3. How much breathing room do you think Inter Miami has right now?
Well, I think we've got to presume that Columbus will win all 3 of their games. Even though in the last game of the season they do play Orlando, so one of them will drop points. But it looks to me as if Cincinnati are in the playoffs now. That point the other night in Seattle meant that they can afford to drop points in the last few games. Orlando have got 3 games in the week, so you just got to presume that one of them 2 teams will get 6 points, which means that we've got to match, and if not better, that those score lines. So it's going to be really tight. And you mustn't forget Atlanta. Atlanta are breathing down everyone's necks as well, and they've got the quality to win both of their games as well. So it's going to be tight. Like I say, I think you can look through 5, 10, 15 different permutations, but really it's about what we do. If we win our games, we'll be in the playoffs. That's the way that we're looking at it. And I think that's the only way to look at it at this stage of the season. Take one game at a time, win your game, put the points on the table, make sure that you do your job. and the rest looks after itself. And I'd say that it's incredibly exciting. If you think about the emotion of the day when we played DC, the results the night before didn't really go for us. And then for 93 minutes, the game in Columbus, the result wasn't going for us. And then I'm absolutely convinced that we won the game in DC because of that last minute goal for Portland. It gives us an incredible boost. And we then score in the 94th minute, which imagine the emotion from the other teams around us then. So it's going to be like that. It's going to be like that this week. And like I say, I'm pleased in a way that we're playing first. Which means that we can at least hopefully get our points on the table first. But it's going to be a real tough game. We know that.
We'll go to Ian, then Steve, then Andrea.
Thank you, Rafa. Good morning, Phil.
Morning.
You handled the Italians pretty well in the home leg of this, and outside of a moment of brilliance from Insigne. They've been a lot more formidable at home, though. What did you learn from the first game, and how can you remanage the situation with them, especially if DeAndre isn't able to go, if Damian isn't able to go?
Yeah, well, I think you hit it on the head. Then is that we handled them okay, and they still produce moments of brilliance. You think about that goal that Insigne scored. There's not many players in the league could score a goal of that quality and technique. I think they must have had 15, 16 corners in the game, and the delivery from Bernardeschi. Honestly, I was having chest pains every time he was delivering the ball into the box. His delivery was outstanding. So you can keep these players quiet, but they have that moment you switch off. They can punish you. They've got quality. They have. They have no pressure on them in terms of sort of like challenging for anything. So they're playing with freedom. And we're playing against world-class players that have played at the highest level. So, it's going to take everything and more for us to compete with those players, to keep those players quiet. We know that their home form has been really good. Bernardeschi and Insigne's record of scoring at home has been outstanding. So we need to keep those players quiet. We've got the full respect for those types of players. And it's about us concentrating on our big players as well, making sure that our big players outperform their big players.
We'll do the last two questions, Steve and Andrea.
Phil, I mean, talk about, you said it's exciting, but I guess nerves as well come into play, don't they? How do you stop the players becoming too nervous?
Well, I think they shouldn't really be nervous because, you guys did predictions at the start of the season and everyone had us down in 13th, 12th, 11th position. So I said to them before the last game that from day one, everyone's written us off. From day one, there was no expectation from outside this football club on where we should finish. So I feel as if we're the team that's got least amount of expectation on us in terms of outside this building, and we just got to go for it. We're a team that turned around 19 players in the off season. This team have performed miracles already this season in terms of their performances, in terms of their spirit, in terms of what they've delivered, and we've got 3 more performances left to perform more miracles. And I want us to enjoy it. I personally I love every minute of this. This is where we want to be. When we were getting beat 5-1 away in Austin. I think I looked at it and think, well, get us to the last week of the season in the playoff hunt. That's where we wanted to be. So when you get to these moments, you can't start freezing up and tensing up. You've got to enjoy the moment. And if you enjoy the moment, you tend to play well. If you enjoy the moment, you play well, and you play with freedom. And I want my players to go out and play with freedom. Against DC, I thought they showed that indomitable spirit to never give up, to fight to the very end, and that was the most pleasing thing. And if we keep the spirit, we keep the momentum, then we're going to have a real good chance.
Last question, Andrea.
Thank you, Rafa. Good morning, Phil.
Morning.
With DeAndre being questionable, I guess we are all thinking that Harvey could get his first start in MLS. I was wondering, what have your conversations been like with him? And could you talk a little bit about that? Thanks.
Well, yeah, we've got options. We've got options at right back if DeAndre doesn't play. We've got Harvey, we've got McVeigh, we've got Victor Joa, Ryan Saylor can play there. So we've got big options. We've got high hopes for Harvey. We've got high hopes for a lot of young players. So he is part of the squad that's travelling. He's ready to play. I trust him that he can handle an occasion like this. And we'll see tomorrow night when we arrive tonight, where DeAndre is and who's the best option for that role. And we're a club that likes to give young players opportunities. That I'm a manager that loves to give the young players opportunities. I think when you give them opportunities, they never seem to let you down. I think I look back to Columbus at home when we had Mabika and Saylor at centre-back, 2 first-round draft picks, two in their first full seasons as MLS players, and they kept quiet. Two international quality strikers that are earning absolutely millions and millions, and that is what this club will always do. We will always give opportunities to young players, and the next in line is the young players that are coming through. So both Harvey and Noah will be traveling with the squad and ready to compete for a place.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Stay safe.